What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Press X Podcast, episode 80, your weekly podcast for gaming news and opinions come at you each and every Monday at noon Eastern. I'm Kevin McManus, with me, Nick Hassell.
Yay.
And back from the dead, Todd Broussard.
Good to be back.
What's up?
Well,
Where have you been?
I've just been working a bunch.
Losing weight, as we discussed.
Working out, yeah.
Getting healthy.
Trying to.
Sounds awful.
Now I'm back on the gaining. Yeah, cultivating mass now.
Some things I want to talk about next week. The Vita top 10 list is going to go live, so we're going to film that after and put that up for next week. I'm going to the Pokemon Go Fest in Chicago. That's the reason that we won't have a news episode next
Traditional
week.
show. Yeah.
I want to kind of recap what that is because I don't actually think we ever talked about what that was on the show because I was just real disappointed I wasn't going to get to go.
And you're the only one who cares.
That's the other part.
You're the only one who still plays.
So basically, they announced that they were doing their first ever event gathering thing, and it was fit for 12,000 people to show up and all this stuff. Jeez. And then they were like, and the tickets are $30 and they're on sale now. So they sold out in a heartbeat. I don't think they had a limit on how many tickets you could buy as a somebody buying them. So people were like, six, and they just disappeared in seconds.
Very obvious that they did not know what they were in for setting that up.
Yeah, anything related to, I know it's not Nintendo, it's Niantic, but anything related to them sells out in a heartbeat and then gets resold. Anyway, so they were $400 on eBay.
Oh. I don't know, you can't, I've never seen people happy, whether they got the tickets or not, that they just do hey guys, guess what? Live now.
Yeah,
like you need like a new video game,
especially because it's only in one city.
Yeah.
So like people need to figure out if they can take off work and they can go and get tickets or flights or whatever they need to do. And the fact that they just they said it was in Chicago like a week earlier, but the fact that they gave the price, what's going on there, and then dropped the tickets was not cool.
Yeah, that's kind
so anyway, they went up on eBay for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and they've been lowering and lowering and lowering as it gets close. Finally got some. Super excited to go. Basically, the way that it's going to work is the people in the park help the people outside of the park, and then the people outside of the park help the people in the park. And the way that works is there's going to be tons of Pokemon in that park, like way more than normal. And if the people in the park catch the most fire Pokemon, everybody gets double XP. If they catch the most like rock Pokemon, they get double candy. If they catch there's a different thing for each type.
Oh, that's cool.
Then the people outside of the park have a quota, and if they catch X Pokemon, we don't know the numbers yet, but total, it extends those bonuses for 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And then if they do it again, it extends them for 48 hours. So you're trying to help each other, basically. And then the big one, which I'm sure will happen because otherwise it would be the worst event ever, is if they hit the final one, it unlocks a special mystery challenge for the people in the park. The mystery challenge lasts an hour, and the poster has the 3 trainers on it. Mm-hmm. And the only other thing in the game that lasts exactly an hour is the new raids bosses. So it's pretty confirmed that it's the legendary raid bosses, and it's probably the 3 birds. Would be the sweet. So I assume this is where the legendary birds are gonna show up, and
I would imagine LA or New York is probably gonna get the Mewtwo.
Yeah,
whenever it hits.
Yeah, the trailer had it in New York, but
that's right, Times Square, like right in the yeah, I remember now.
So that's really cool. The other things they said there's gonna be like, they'll have charging stations and photo things and a bunch of like little stuff like that. The only other big like Pokemon Go thing is the region exclusives are going to be there, which is cool. Because I'm hoping the Europe one's there because I like me a Mr. Mime.
Yeah,
Mr. Mime's sweet. So I'll be going to that. Other than that, let's move on to what we've been playing. Todd, I'll start with you because you said you don't have much, and I have a long list. So.
When they released
you've been working out too much.
I
you haven't been
He's
playing
been working
video
on
games.
life.
working out. I've been playing a bunch of new like champions on League of Legends that came out. I was behind like 4.
God, it's like Kellen all over again.
Yeah, I've just been like playing a bunch of League recently. But it's really sweet. Been playing like competitive League, getting back into that. And I've been playing a little bit of Halo Wars. The new one, but I'm pretty bad at it, like a lot worse than I remember being. But it's really fun. But online is.
I'm real bad at a game I'm playing too, so I'm
getting like, hammered online. But the storylines are really fun.
Kellen liked it quite a bit. Did you play
not yet
Halo Wars?
It's sweet.
I was still doing computer stuff at the time, and I didn't want to buy the Xbox One version and not have the Windows 10 version. So I waited. But I know the cinematics and stuff like that are always top notch on that game.
They're
so.
sweet.
It's ridiculous.
They're really sweet.
They should really just release like an animated or a movie or something like that.
It would be really nice. But I have a bunch of games that I just haven't started playing, like Horizon.
Ooh, I'll talk about that.
Yeah, I pre-ordered Injustice forever ago, and I just never picked it up. So I have a copy of that sitting at GameStop.
I don't think it works like that. I think after 7 days, they're like, and it's gone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
they'll have copies.
You can still go grab.
But I know if you have if you pre-order like something like an amiibo that's limited, they'll just give it away after a few days. Yeah, that's how I got a bunch of mine.
I pre-ordered games before and just like spent like a month and not picked it up, and then
I think they just give you your $5 back or whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, I got a couple other games to play. But yeah, I got a lot of free time to do it now.
Yeah, Nick, you can go next.
I beat Nier Automata, and I put it in air quotes because it's a game that you beat it and then you go back and play through it again, and the way you played it before changes how the second playthrough goes, and then the second playthrough changes the third. So that's cool, but just because I've got so many games currently and a huge backlog, I was just like, okay, well,
now I keep nagging you that I want to play it.
Well, that too. Even though you've got an insane amount of games going on right now and don't think you could get to it, but
I'll figure it out.
I liked it. I really liked it a lot. That I didn't know about that system of game where, like I said, it's not very long, but you're supposed to beat it over and over and over again. I knew about the multiple endings, but I thought it was just like 10 troll endings and a few decent endings, a bad ending, and a good ending. But no, it's got all sorts of stuff going on. So I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. I really like the game. I can see why people are talking about it in the Game of the Year or Action Adventure Game of the Year or whatever category, talking about it so much. Plays like Bayonetta. I think plays better than Bayonetta, but 2B isn't like the same as Bayonetta, like as far as like character, because obviously one's super flashy and a little more sexual and
I don't know about that part.
Bigger name, and 2B like Nier Automata is a lot more like grounded a little bit and not as flashy, I guess.
Yeah, it's not as over the top anime as Bayonetta.
So I don't know, really like the game and can't wait to get through it again. But like I said, I want to get some of these other games in the meantime while I can before fall hits and everything just goes to hell for the most part. Other game I jumped into today, surprisingly, didn't think I was going to get this game. Reactions to it were solid. Reviews were solid. Jumped in on Final Fantasy 12, Zodiac Age. Played 2 hours of it today. I like it. It's definitely feels like a MMO.
PS2.
Well, yeah. There's that too. You can definitely tell it's dated, but some of the overhaul that they did to it, as far as like speeding up the running and things like that, help. I can get over graphics not being top notch or 4K, whatever, if as long as it works. I care more about it not feeling old.
I love the comment that you made when I was playing Silent Hill Shattered Memories on the PlayStation 2 because like it has frame rate hiccups when you go through doors and I was playing it and whatever, and you sat down and you were watching and you were like, if this was released today, people would go unplayable.
Yeah, so I care more about the feel of it versus new old rather than the look of it. I don't really care that much. I can get over it. Just because I've gone back and played the KOTORs and stuff like that so many times that I can get over shitty looking graphics or PS2 and back era graphics. Yeah, I think it looks actually pretty good for how old it is, but it feels really good, and I like the fact that it feels like an MMO. Yeah, even though it's single player only.
That was part of their, I guess, like their target, their thing that they wanted to do with that.
The combat's a little weird. It's sort of like KOTOR where it's like time delayed. It's not instant action. Like you push a button and then it like cues it up and then it's going to happen. So it's not turn based and it's not, God of War, Bayonetta, Nier kind of combat either, but it's just somewhere in between. So you still have, I guess, like a little bit of time to be like, I don't want to do this or I want to run away. So it's cool. I like that. I'm glad that it's not super turn based or else I wouldn't have played it. I mean, I obviously looked that up before. I don't want to go super traditional like dice roll sort of turn-based. Characters seem fine. I'm playing in Japanese with subtitles. Feels more authentic, I guess, that way. Stories ridiculous and over the top that I've already seen, and I'm already just like, what's happening? Just like every other Final Fantasy.
Did you get into like the class system
and
stuff? So that's not in the original game.
Oh, really?
That's like an added. They patched it on the PS2 into the Japanese version, but we've never gotten the class-based system.
Okay.
It used to just be basically when you pick a class, you get a board. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, they call it licenses, but yeah.
And you pick your abilities and stuff through that. Everybody used to have the same one, so every character eventually was the same character, and that's why they made that.
Okay, differentiate it. Yeah. Okay, then yeah, I've already started down my path of being like a samurai knight or something like that. So. I'll stick to it. That seems pretty cool. But I know the more people I'll get, I'll start building like hey, here's the healer, here's the tank, whatever. Start getting like super nerdy about it. But it seems cool. Only played a couple hours, but I imagine it's a 100-hour plus game. So until maybe one of these games on the release thing hit, I'll probably just be playing that.
Yeah, I was torn when that game came out because I did want it, but this is the perfect backlog time. I'm like, I can't do it right now.
Yeah, I knew it was a now or never for me. I could still get to the Yakuza and the Berserk and whatever else later on in the year, but this one was just like it's literally now or never, and I can probably ship it off to you or something like that at some later point, or someone will want to play it, but I like it. It seems like a decent purchase so far, and I want to get like a full party and just start just crushing stuff because pretty good at those types of games and being strategic and planning out stuff and whatever. But otherwise, I've just been watching Evo. By the time this airs, it'll be over. Sunday night's always the huge night. Saturday is just kind of like building up to Sunday, and sort of like the lesser games have their top 8s and finish like that. I really like it. The venue's insane this year. So many like. You can tell each year they've been more and more organized as streaming is growing its own right, like Twitch, and they're kind of going along with it. So now you don't get those kind of like awkward 15, 20-minute patches of time where they're just kind of making small talk and like, what are these fighting game guys talking about? I don't know these words and characters and things they keep talking about. But now it's, they're getting better talent as far as people talking, not just, hey, here's the guy who's been playing in arcades for 30 years, and you can tell. Yeah. There's actually like people who can speak well and like entertain you between.
Yeah, that's why I like the fighting game commentary and stuff. I feel like even in games that I don't know, I can follow along. Yeah. When they have good some of that. Like I watch some League of Legends, like I don't know what the hell's that.
Yeah, I mean that's one good thing about League, whether you like the game or not, is that because they've been doing their leagues and their tournaments
so much?
And stuff like that. Yeah, they don't have shoutcasting. Well. Depends on the fighting game. Some people just get a little too hype, turned up a little too much.
Sometimes in the final hits of
and the crowd goes wild too when some crazy stuff happens. But yeah, for the most part, I've just been watching Tekken and Street Fighter. Those are because thousands of people enter that, they literally have to spend a whole day, which was Friday, just going through the pools
to get the top 8. Yeah, I saw my girl made it to top 8 in Tekken. Eliza.
Oh, someone playing your character.
Yeah.
I think I know which person you're talking about because that guy is ridiculous.
I played 0 Tekken.
Ooh, we can change that.
We can fix that.
But yeah, it's been awesome. I think Saturday, the day that we're filming right now, is going to be a bunch of anime games and, like I said, kind of building up to top 8s. And then literally Sunday is just top 8 this game. I think
Catherine.
Injustice, Tekken, Street Fighter, Smash. That's the last one. Okay. It's literally 4 or 5 games, and it goes the entire day. And I think ESPN3 is picking up Street Fighter 5.
That's cool.
Finals. That's always fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's sweet, and it's nice to see other games because I'm seeing Street Fighter getting like 20, 30,000 people watching it. Same as Tekken, same as Injustice. Like, it's balanced out. It's not just,
awesome.
Oh, who cares about Marvel? Who cares about Injustice or Mortal Kombat? Let's just wait for Street Fighter. Like, it's balanced now. Yeah. And the hype and amount of attention and entrance are kind of balancing out too. So that's cool. I'm glad. I like to see a nice spread when there's multiple, like 8 or 9 games rather than just here's 7 and then here's Street Fighter and the other one. So that's interesting. But yeah, EVO's probably the biggest video game tournament of the year.
I'm sure.
Despite genre. So yeah, always a good time.
I bought a Switch.
Yeah, you did.
That was my big thing.
That was a struggle.
Walmart was like, it's up, it's gone. It's up, it's gone. And every time I'd get to my cart, it'd be like, oh, this is out of stock.
The Walmart, 30 plus minutes away.
Yeah, and then a Walmart, I use Brick Seeker, which basically scans the codes and tells you the inventory. And there was a Walmart 40 minutes away or whatever. and I was like, ooh, I can't go. I have something to do. So I was asking people. I was like, can anybody go get this thing? And then finally, Wendy, my girlfriend, was like, yeah, I'll go. Like 6 hours later. And she's like, they don't have it. I'm like, yeah, and that's kind of how I assumed that would go. But then I asked a local store via Twitter, one of my favorite services. And they were like, yeah, we're getting in 6 tomorrow. And I was like, I will be there. Nice. So went and got that. Didn't buy a game. Don't have a game for this.
Well, that's why you didn't get it online, because most of the online retailers that have it are bundles.
Yeah, and I want Splatoon 2, which comes out next week, and I'm just waiting on that. So yeah, I got a Switch. I love it, actually. Like, I played all the demos that you have for free. Some of the demos are really good. The Puyo Puyo Tetris demo gives you all of Puyo Puyo, all of Tetris, and the swap mode. Cool. And you can play full multiplayer or against bots up to 4. So I was like, this is a sweet demo.
Don't play against the bots, by the way.
You can put them on easy, and then it's difficult.
Yeah.
Or you can put it on any other mode and just get wrecked.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, for some reason, all of the, like, ARMS I played at single player, Puyo Puyo I played single player, Bomberman I don't think I played single player yet.
Puyo Puyo is the Tetris one?
It's Puyo Puyo and Tetris, yeah.
But, like, for whatever reason, these games are hard.
Yeah.
Like, these are.
I knew Tetris and stuff would be hard. They seem like they're
geared towards kids as far as Nintendo.
That's fair.
Like, running meme, but unless I'm just terrible at video games now.
That's how I'm bad at Tetris, and I know that, and, like, I get destroyed when we play. But I like the Puyo Puyo game. It redeems me a little bit. Anyway, I love the system way more than I thought I would. I'm actually thoroughly enjoying my no games with it, which is pretty impressive. Awesome. The only complaint I have so far is that the charging port is on the bottom of the screen, which is weird because you can do the kickstand thing, but you can't do the kickstand and charge it at the same time. If it was on the top, you could plug it in and have it.
I think there's been other systems like that. I don't know if it was a Nintendo or what, but it usually has like a slot. So if you have a stand, I would just cut a hole in the bottom.
No, like there's a kickstand on the actual Switch, like the back of it.
Oh,
so you can stand it and put it on a table or whatever. And I set it up, but I just bought it, so it needed to be charging. And I was like, I can't do the setup and have it charging and watch it. I have to put it in the handheld thing and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, small complaint, but I actually really
like it. It really
like
should be on top, though.
Yeah. And I'll know more about it because I'm taking it with me on my trip. That was part of the reason I wanted it so bad.
Sick.
It won't last the entire car right over there.
No, it will not. Next up, some games. Horizon Zero Dawn is the big one that I've been playing. I want the disclaimer that I don't like the genre at all. It's not really my style. And the game is fine to me, so it's probably pretty darn good because I'm not a big fan of the genre.
You're taking a big hit in points because you hate sandbox and open world.
Right. So all my complaints that I always have about those genres is still there. When you walk up, and like I'm sneaking up on a ledge and then it triggers the cutscene and I'm on the ground talking to the person and then it cuts back and I'm back on the ledge. It's very distracting. I hate like when some people make realistic looking games like that are trying to tell a story and there's all these immersion breaking things in it. It really bothers me. Same with the way that when you talk to somebody, their face is just a neutral stance and their lip sync is great, but like they don't show any emotion. I hate that stuff. It bothers me so much. That being said, when you're actually in the game and walking around the world, holy moly, it's very pretty.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as pretty as like an Uncharted 4, but at the same time, this game is huge and there's like multiple monsters or dinosaurs or whatever you want to call them on the screen at once running around doing their thing, and the frame rate doesn't drop and it looks beautiful, and then it starts raining and there's all these weather effects, and I'm like, how does the PlayStation 4 play this?
I had super rose-tinted glasses when I first played it because obviously how close it came out to Zelda when its frame rate issues as far as number of things on the screen running at you and then jumping over this. I was just like, oh, my God.
Yeah,
night and day difference.
No joke, cannot believe this game runs on the PlayStation 4. It's insane. I don't know what they did, what kind of, magic Gorilla did over
I'd really like to see the jump between this and the Pro, though.
Yeah, the Pro's supposed to be the prettiest game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have some complaints that are like common complaints to me that are not about the genre, I guess. The controls bother me because they're very similar to The Last of Us, but different. And it feels like they just made it different so that they're not the same exact controls as The Last of Us. Like the crafting button is the other. Instead of being L1, it's R1. Or instead of being R1, it's L1. And to crouch is square, which is really weird because crouching is always circle in like almost everything. And
or clicking a joystick.
And circles roll. which crouch and roll are normally the same button. It's just if you're running or not. Is typically how I don't know why you'd ever want to be crouched and then roll out of the way. I guess if something's charging at you. But so a lot of times I'm like in cover and then I roll out of cover because I'm trying to crouch. I'm like, damn it. And then the thing sees me. I'm having a lot of trouble with the game. I'm very bad at third-person shooters, but this is way harder than Bloodborne to me. Way harder than I cannot do anything in this game.
Is it harder than Bloodborne?
To me, yeah, like 1,000%.
Yeah.
And I know it's because I'm not playing like stealthily like you're supposed to, but I put it on easy. I'm still dying all the time. It took me 45 minutes to kill one robot the other day. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's real bad.
No, I'm super struggling, and I was talking to Kellen about it because he's played it, and he's like, well, you use this weapon, and I'm like, I don't have that weapon. And he's like, you get it like in the story. I was like, I don't have that weapon, so I don't know what's going on. I went to vendors, I can't buy it. I was like, I don't know. I'm missing a weapon somewhere.
Within 5 minutes of you playing the game, not all the cutscenes and all the stuff leading up to it, but like once you actually get to play with Aloy, I was like willfully jumping in packs of, I call them horses, but I mean they were the dinosaurs that kind of act like horses.
Yeah, see, I don't like the combat either. I played for probably, I think I'm 13 hours in now.
Jeez.
And
wow. Okay.
There's humans in the game. The human combat is
news to me.
Yeah,
Nah.
It was news to me when Kellen said it. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
The human combat I like. It's fine. It's like an Uncharted, but I didn't like the robot combat until like the last 2 hours. I'm just now starting to enjoy the robot combat, so it took a while. But yeah, it does feel like a better Assassin's Creed or something like that, like those junk food games that I just play and then I'm done with. My only problem with that is this one's story is actually interesting and I want to know the story, but I really don't like. I feel like in another, because I think I'm halfway through or something. I feel like in another 4 or 5 hours, I'm like, I'm not going to want to play this game anymore, and I don't know if I'm going to look up the story or what I'm going to do, because I don't know if I'm going to finish it. And I'm getting frustrated. I die a lot. And the checkpoints are not good. Like, you'll do an enemy of, like, a thing of enemies, and then do puzzles, and then die in the puzzle, like you fell off a cliff or something, and it brings you back and you have to refight the enemies. And I'm like, God damn it, game.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't follow forums or anything for this game, but I've never heard anyone say it was that hard or difficult.
I'm struggling, man. I've looked it up. I've looked up if people struggle, and, like, yeah, it's
they
come
do?
up.
Okay.
But I'm bad at third-person shooters.
Oh, yeah.
Like, very bad. I think Uncharted's really hard. I think this game's hard.
Well, Uncharted's hard.
I had trouble with Alan Wake. I'm like, this
Uncharted
game's too much.
and stuff like Assassin's Creed gets difficult because it's either one button does too many things and you try to just do like a simple jump to a ledge, fall off and die. And sort of like the Crash Bandicoot thing that we were talking about last week,
I don't have a problem with Crash.
where
I love Crash.
you feel like, you're hitting the right button, but you're just missing the ledge or something like that. So that happens a lot with those games. Uncharted is very, like, you have to be very precise.
Yeah, you have to hit headshots or they take 17 bullets.
That and the like sliding down the hill to jump and catch a twig and twirl around and jump and catch the cliff. Like,
yeah, I don't have a problem with the platform. I actually love the platforming in Horizon.
Yeah.
The jumping is really good. I was surprised.
So that's
it's just the robot fights. I can't do it. And I know you're supposed to like scan them and get their weaknesses and plan and set traps and stuff.
I don't remember.
I just don't enjoy that.
I don't remember a tutorial for the game. I mean,
No.
I know there's stuff that pops up on the screen and says like hit square to do this.
There's a tutorial, but they don't like tell you how to fight something huge.
Yeah.
So when you do fight something huge, I'm just like, and Kellen's like, oh, you use this weapon. I'm like, I don't have that. I don't understand. Anyway, moving on, it's fine.
It doesn't hold your hand, so
right. It's fine. I like Tomb Raider much better. Tomb Raider is very similar, but it's got more Uncharted combat. The story is better in Horizon, but overall, I still think also the leveling system in Tomb Raider was way less confusing. Things felt way more meaningful when I leveled up. In this, they just give you kind of the full skill tree at the start, and you're like, do I want to be stealthy? Do I want to be aggressive? I don't know, because I've been playing for 5 minutes, and I have 7 points to spend. So
this tells me for you to not play Witcher because that game's infinitely harder than this.
I was hyped when I played Tomb Raider and I really liked it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna play Witcher now, and like this game's totally like killing that vibe. If it wasn't so pretty, I would have shut it off.
Witcher's infinitely harder than Horizon, so
sweet. Anyway, Shovel Knight, Spectre of Torment, the expansion. I turned that on because I was like, I don't want to play Horizon. Holy crap! That game's great.
Yeah.
I want to say it's better than the original Shovel Knight campaign. It's hard to tell because I already played the original Shovel Knight campaign, so the learning curve of that's a little different. Like, I know enemies' movements and stuff already, but the way that they rebuilt the game to work with this character that can run up walls, he can double jump, but only if you attack an enemy in the air, so they'll have enemies that float, and you'll have to jump and then attack the enemy to fly further.
That's pretty cool.
The puzzles that you have to do, you can't run up all walls, so you'll need to find ways to like bring other walls down so that you can run up that one and get to the next platform. They redid all the boss fights so that they have like minions and stuff now with them to complement the jumping. You basically can attack in diagonals, I guess is the best way to put it. And then the new items that they added are so cool, and they added item tutorials, which is something that Shovel Knight didn't have. So whenever you get a new item, it brings you almost like Metroid style. It brings you into an area where you cannot get out unless you use that item. And Shovel Knight had a little bit of that, but you could not break it, but you could get away with not using that item because it was in the middle of the level. This is, you get the item and now that's your only thing that you have, and you need to figure out how to get out of this area.
That's cool.
So it was just, Yacht Club's games are super incredible. I can't believe all this stuff is free expansions for the game. I mean,
that's why when they charge, like if they bring it to the Switch and something like that and they charge money for it, it's not a big deal. It's not people throwing their hands up and like Call of Duty. It's like, I already paid $15 for this map twice.
Yeah. So I love the Shovel Knight campaign. I think it's fantastic. I love this. I'm about halfway through it. I think I've died once in it the whole time. Like, it just the jumping and everything feels so perfect that I can just flow through the levels as opposed to their last one, which was Plague Knight, which I didn't actually like. They have one more coming. I'm super excited to see what it is. And like I said, I'm about halfway.
Oh, they haven't announced it. They just said that they're going to do one more?
No, it's I think it's King Knight or the water one, whatever the water one's name is.
King Knight is kind of a weird title.
All of their it's like a joke off the Mega Man things. It's Propeller Knight, King Knight, Plague Knight, Spectre Knight, Tinker Knight. Like they're all stupid. That is kind of the point. But yeah, I love this. And like the hub world for this, they changed it up and it really works. They made it more like Mega Man where you just pick what level you want to go to and then you do it and then you go back you have new powers. Like, oh my gosh. It might be my favorite expansion to something ever, honestly.
Cool.
I probably like it more than Left Behind, the Last of Us expansion. I played Blaster Master Zero on the Switch. I played the demo, which is 2 levels. I've already beaten or played through the original Blaster Master, so I kind of just went through it. Really cool. I'm getting that game. The only reason I haven't bought it is because I know the second I buy it, I'm not going to go back to Horizon. So I'm literally waiting for my trip to purchase it.
Maybe that's why I shouldn't give you Nier then, so you can finish
that's probably
finish what you're going to finish.
Splatoon 2, the Splatoon Fest is literally in an hour. We get to play that game. And you can already download it and make your character and everything. The game's really pretty. Super excited for that. I just kind of ran around the town and everything, but I'll have impressions. I mean, the game will be out, so we'll have impressions of that next week or the week after, I guess, when I get back. And then finally, Runbow, which is a game I've been looking for forever, and Best Buy finally put it up for like $14. And I was like, oh, cool. And it's a 8-player Smash Brothers style game with indie characters, except for instead of just beating each other up, there is a mode that is like that. There's platforming challenges, so it's like get to the end of the level and you're all racing each other, but the level backgrounds constantly change color. Platforms are all colors, so if the platforms are purple, you jump on a purple platform and the background's purple, you fall through it because that platform's not there anymore. So it gets hard because it'll have backgrounds that are like rainbow and they're constantly moving, and you need to jump when your color is not going to hit it, otherwise you're going to fall through. But yeah, real fun, way more fun than I actually thought it was going to be, so I'm super happy with that purchase.
That's sweet.
My only negative is there's no one playing online. I went on the online thing because it's old.
Yeah.
And on the Wii U, and so no one's playing online.
It's Nintendo, it's old, it's not on the current platform.
All right, let's move into the news. That was along what we've been playing.
It's going to be longer than the news.
That's true. The news is like 5 things. Ni no Kuni 2 has been delayed. I'm pretty sure that was my prediction for the beginning of the year when we did predictions. I think I finally got that point. I said that.
Well, yeah, you're kind of shitting yourself when they announced the date for it. You're like, well.
Yeah, I was like, well, there goes that point. So Ni no Kuni 2 has been delayed.
But not even a month later, they announced a delay.
Yeah, I don't understand people. It was supposed to come out in November, which they announced at E3.
Yep.
And then now they're like, oh, it's January 19th. Just kidding. It's like, oh, okay. And just to add to kind of an interview, in some interview that they did, they said that there was going to be multiplayer for the game, and they clarified that was a mistranslation. He thought that they were asking about downloadable like content for the game, additional things that you could do online, like download and buy. And he didn't. It was a mistranslation, so there's not going to be multiplayer for this game. But yeah, Ni no Kuni 2 delayed. Sad. I think this is a Gravity Rush delay, meaning
avoiding something.
They moved Gravity Rush because it was on the same day as The Last Guardian, and that's literally the same audience. Why would you do that? And I think they were like, oh, well, there's going to be Destiny, and there's going to be Battlefront, and there's going to be all these things.
January's a pretty safe month.
And it's like, why even put the game out? It doesn't make sense. So I'm okay with that. You're interested in Ni no Kuni 2?
Yeah. It's far enough ahead of the titans that are going to be like God of War,
Assassin's Creed,
whatever they do with Red Dead, stuff like that. So it'll be far enough ahead of those and far enough behind the things that they obviously want to dodge. So yeah, January's probably the safest month besides like December and stuff like that, where nothing comes out
except for The Last Guardian,
except movies
and Gravity Rush was supposed to same day. And last year, Dead Rising also came out in December. I bet that didn't do well.
Oh no.
Next up, Gran Turismo Sport. The opposite story got a release date.
Yeah.
I don't understand the E3 announcements at all. They're like, oh, it's coming sometime this year. And then this gets a release date actually for this year.
They gave us a 15-minute segment, like touring the guy's office and learning about his life and stuff like that.
My favorite food.
They could have just sprinkled on a date right there. I mean, it's how much could have happened in 3 weeks where it's like, we can do it now.
I partially think they were waiting to see the Xbox One X and Forza's stuff. Like, I really do think that they were waiting for them to flinch first and see what their date was going to be and then pick a date. But anyway, October 17th. Sounds good.
I'm in
Fine
there.
with me. Yeah. Disappointing that the full game is not VR compatible.
Oh, super disappointed. But it's still Gran Turismo. So.
Also, did you know this? There's not really a single player from what I'm hearing. It's like, it's more like tutorials and stuff like that. It's like a very focused on its online, I guess is the best way to put it.
Oh, wonderful.
Is it like always online?
No.
Okay.
But
no,
they wouldn't do that because it looks bad. Yeah. But from what I'm hearing, their single player is not much.
Okay.
It's very multiplayer focused. So just another shot to the heart, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
Kick them while they're down. Man, the news this week sucks. WWE 2K18 is coming to the Switch. This is this is news because this is like the first game that's third party, that's a big name, that is coming to all three platforms.
That's sweet.
Everything else, they're like, you're getting last year's version, you're getting Skyrim, but you're getting the 360 version of Skyrim, like all this stuff.
Well, this kind of piggybacks off of something that Cliff Bleszinski was saying about Bulletstorm, but when you first told that to me, I was like, that makes sense because wrestling's like 3 buttons. Wrestling games are like 3 buttons.
The Lawbreakers thing. That was a weird interview. They're like, we don't have enough buttons on the Switch. We couldn't make it work. And I'm like, you have the same number of buttons unless games are required to play with the little sideways things, which I don't think they are. So I don't know. That was a weird comment. But anyway, this is big news for Switch owners because maybe they'll start getting some games that everybody else has.
It's weird for wrestling to be the pioneer and not like sports games, which are about to hit.
Or like, I'm actually surprised Assassin's Creed wasn't, because Assassin's Creed, like they made a Vita Assassin's Creed. Yeah. But they did the Rabbids game instead, I guess, which is probably better.
Well, the Vita might be more powerful on the Switch too.
So anyway, the only negative, I guess, is that this doesn't have a release date. It will be coming out after the other two versions,
delayed release.
But it's still the fall 2017. They just don't have the date.
I'll have to take note of that for my eventual top 10 Switch games of all time, since this won't count.
That's true. And then the last bit of news is the new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, which I'm going to watch right now and see what's up. 2017. Oh!
Is that an 8?
Yeah.
I can't read it upside down.
That looks pretty sweet.
I don't believe them for a moment. Let me just go ahead and say.
Well, it didn't even narrow it down to a month, so.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, they'll do that later, because it wasn't even a trailer, technically, you know what I mean? That's coming 2019. Let me tell you that. But that's awesome. The Toy Story looks great.
It does.
It looks straight up like the movies,
yeah.
Which they did with Tangled as well. Tangled looked exactly like the movie, but they didn't show. They showed the world, but they didn't show Rapunzel, and they haven't shown any of the human characters.
Yeah.
So that's really neat. Also, there's a lot of new worlds in this one apparently because we got Big Hero 6, we got Tangled, we've got this. We have the Coliseum area from Hercules, but we're in a different area. We're in the cloud area instead of the actual Coliseum, so it's like a new world.
Yeah.
Frozen's gotta be in there. They're gonna have Frozen. There's no way they don't have Frozen. So lots of new worlds. I like it. I'm sold. I was already sold.
Are they gonna? I'm sitting here wondering if they would get Tim Allen and Tom Hanks back for those voices.
Sure. They almost always have the original voices. And I don't know if you saw the Wreck-It Ralph stuff. No. That's awesome. The new Wreck-It Ralph has all the Disney princesses in it together. Mm-hmm. It's like an Avengers princess thing, and they all have their voice actresses and stuff back.
Some of those I'm sure are hard to dig up nowadays. Some of those movies are pretty old.
Yeah. So very, very happy with that. It's coming 2018 for Japan. Let's move into some quick questions. First, what is a series that deserves a second chance? So, game series that either went dormant or maybe it had one shot and it didn't work or
Never got a sequel.
Never got a sequel.
State Empire.
Brought it full circle.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
My answer is going to be Mighty Number 9 because I think that was dead on arrival, and I think that is unfair, especially when you have things like what's it called? Mighty Gunvolt Burst, the new game on the Switch that is all 8-bit and Beck's in it from Mighty Number 9, and it plays like Mighty Number 9, but it doesn't look bad. It doesn't have that terrible aesthetic that Mighty Number 9 went with, because that game really should have been a pixel art game, and they didn't do it. And I think that shows that you can do that, and they should probably just relaunch it with that aesthetic and that gameplay, because the gameplay in the game was fine. It was the look. It looked terrible, and the voice acting and stuff make it like an NES game and not like a weird PlayStation 1 game. How about you, Nick?
I'm sitting here trying to think of a few different things. I know, if you want to delve into this game was fine, where's the sequel? Because the question sort of made me felt like what crashed and burned, but really had potential.
Sure, that's fair. Deserves a second chance.
If I answered it like that, it would be too human. I know Kellen would kill me if I didn't mention it.
That's fair.
Because the game played great. I mean, he and I spent 100 hours playing just together and then doing our own separate single-player stuff. But it was just obviously the company went under, I think for using other assets and stuff like that. And I think Fable, mainstay Fable games, not all the spin-off stuff and whatever they want to do, but that was kind of like Peter Molyneux and whatever else kind of going under. I think Lionhead Studios. I would just like to see a mainstay game, none of the fancy stuff, and not overpromise and very underdeliver. I would agree with Jade Empire. That game, there's no reason why that game has not had a sequel.
Oh man,
on paper at least. I'm sure, background stuff, and we saw what they did with Mass Effect. So I don't know if I want a secondary or a C team from BioWare handling it. It needs to be a main focus, sort of thing. Probably KOTOR as well. I wish they would stop. I like SWTOR, and I'll defend it to a point as far as MMO goes. But
I would love a single player.
They need to just cut it off and move on. And I don't really care so much for these games tie into the movies and stuff like that. I don't care about those. I just want another KOTOR.
I actually enjoyed the Force Unleashed 1 and 2. I was
they're pretty cool. Yeah, they had a lot of cool elements to it.
I wanted a trilogy to it though. So if I could get a third one of those to wrap up that story,
I really like collecting the items and making my own lightsaber and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I didn't like some parts of the story just because it didn't really make sense as far as who the main character was and such. But yeah, those are probably the big ones off the top of my head that I can think of. I would say Spyro, but. I think it's going to get a remaster, so
that's fair. We'll just skip to this one. Jordan, fan of the show Jordan, asks, where's the next Gamer versus Gamer? It's a good question, Callan. Where is the next gamer versus gamer?
Get Mr. Jordan to fly down here.
Talked about it. He's gonna be on one. A scoop. He's gonna be on one eventually, whenever he decides to show up. But I would love to do the next one. I have some ideas.
Road trip to Texas?
I have some ideas for some other ones.
Yeah.
Things like that. But it's hard to find people who are like, oh, yeah, kind of hurt myself and play a video game and probably lose. That sounds like fun. It's a little tough. So I want to do it. It's not like I've dropped it off, but working on it. All right. Let's move to the game releases.
Oh,
There's
boy, this
quite
is
a
me.
lot.
And I can maybe pronounce half of them.
Yeah, so let's summarize the summaries here and get through all these, because there's really only one that matters. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and it's last, so we'll just because Nintendo can't release on Tuesdays. Starting off July 18th, there's Aria Collector's Edition for Xbox One and PS4. It's a music-themed action RPG. I think it's got a little bit of like puzzle stuff built into it, but for the most part, I don't know. It's character based, and your mission's to return like all these instruments and restore balance and like peace to the world.
To the Force.
It's like super over dramatic action music themed game.
All right.
99 Vidas with a D.
I got real excited.
But it does come out for the PS Vita, PS4, and PS3. 99 Vidas captures the excitement of beat 'em ups like Final Fight, Double Dragon, Battletoads, Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage. Probably my
those games
favorite
are sick.
phrases. Featuring 16-bit retro graphics to bring back the nostalgia of those games from the 80s and 90s. So I have no idea what this is, but if you're going to put that on your banner,
Battletoads
then
and Double Dragon, those are like two of my favorite video games.
Final Fight was ridiculous. Streets of Rage, if we're talking about 3, is really good. Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds sweet.
They're speaking to me here, but I'm kind of like, this is too good to be true sort of thing. Fair. So I'll go.
Why haven't I heard about this game
I'll go
before?
look at a YouTube clip and be like, okay, nice try.
That's the problem.
You got a view on your YouTube page from me. That's about it. Orcs Must Die Unchained. Tower defense orc invasion game. It's a free-to-play game, 3-player teams, and you're just holding back hordes of orcs and setting up traps.
What else we got?
That sounds pretty bad.
Children of Zodiarcs for PC and PS4. Story-driven tactical RPG set in the fantasy realm of Loomis, a world divided by affluence and poverty. It looks like you're taking control of a few people, utilizing a brand new deck and dice-based combat system.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, I guess people are just jumping on like the Hearthstone and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's weird.
That sounds bad.
Next game, Fallen Legion for the PS Vita and PS4. Fallen Legion is an action RPG featuring hand-drawn 2D artwork and intense battle system where skill is more important than grinding for experience or points. So not for you.
As long as it's not a shooter. The shooter part is the problem.
Bow and arrow part?
Yeah, you shoot the arrows.
Yonder, the Cloud Catcher Chronicles for PC and PS4. Oh god. It looks like you're going to this world called Gamea, lush frontier with 8 distinct environments ranging from sunny tropical beaches to frigid snow-capped mountains. Each location has its own wildlife and vegetative life along with changing seasons and a day and night cycle. The hero of this story will explore the island, uncover its secrets and mysteries, and he embarks on a journey of self-discovery while saving Gamea and its people. So it's a Vision Quest game, I guess.
Yeah, I've actually heard of that one, so 1 point for them.
July 19th, Moonhunters, Xbox One, a co-op personality test about exploring an ancient occult world in 5 days. How will you be remembered? This pixel art-inspired action RPG follows up to 4 players to shape and mold the world around them in an adventure unlike any before it.
Cool.
What remains of Edith Finch for Xbox One?
Oh yeah, I saw this. This was like a stealth announcement.
Yeah. I mean, you've talked about it to death. Kellen's been playing it and
he
talking
beat
about
it. He
it.
loved
So
it. Yeah, it's really good.
Talked
It's
about
really
it a lot.
good, and their original partnership, their first game was Unfinished Swan, and they were partnered with Sony for that. And this one, they Sony broke off the contract or whatever, so they're able to release it on everything.
Cool.
So here's the Xbox One version.
More exposure, more money.
I love Unfinished Swan.
Yeah, you should get this game.
Yeah.
You should definitely get the game. Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Aporia Beyond the Valley for PC. First-person puzzle adventure set in the land of Ezrat Keen. Explore this world full of nature and ancient technology with a fog-covered forest haunted by a spirit. There is no text or dialogue in Aporia, just the environment around you to be your guide and storyteller. So it sounds quiet. July
Metal
20th.
Gear? Damn.
Gigantic for Xbox One and PC. Gigantic is a visually stunning evolution in team action gaming, where freedom of movement, playstyle choice, and towering guardians make 5-on-5 competition more accessible and fun than ever. It's a fast, fluid, strategic hero shooter where you battle alongside massive guardians in deeply strategic team gameplay.
The last time we talked about this game, Todd was on the show.
So I've been playing this game on and off, and I played the alpha, the beta, and now it's an open beta for about a year. And it's the worst of these, the worst of these hero shooter games that are coming out.
Have you checked out Lawbreakers at all?
No.
Be interested to get your opinion on them.
This gigantic. It's super buggy.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many characters.
They're taking on a lot of genres here.
It's bad.
So
it's bad.
Oh, it's always good when you stuff a bunch of genres into one thing. It really works every time.
Is it?
It feels like what do you call it? It feels like Paladins a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Speaking of Paladins, July 21st, Conga Master for PS4 and Xbox One. It's a console port. It's a dance floor. The dance floor fills. The line gets longer. Come on down. It's time to conga. Shake your virtual hips to the arcade action of Conga Master and fight to make the longest conga line possible and become the king of the club.
I'm sold.
Game
of the year.
I'm actually curious.
I'm mad that he made me read that. I should have looked ahead. And the only game that matters, Splatoon 2 for the Switch. I'll read the description, but we know it.
Yeah, it's the same game as the first Splatoon that has everything that people complained about fixed.
Mm-hmm.
There's way more content there at launch.
There's
the single player, there will be an umbrella. The single player is much improved, even though the first single player was actually really good.
Yeah.
This is a much improved single player, a much bigger hub world to explore. You're able to use all the weapons in single player, which is the big complaint people had, that you could only use the base weapon. Yeah. You can use all the weapons in the single player. They fixed some things. The only complaint that I've heard about it from people who have played the game already is you can't change your loadout while you're in a lobby. And I think that's a Nintendo thing where they're like, we want it to be a surprise, and you go in and you see what you verse. But sometimes you're versing a team of all paint rollers, and you're like, man, I wish I had a sniper rifle to just shoot them. And you're like, too bad. If you want to change your stuff, you have to leave and then find a new party when you go back in, so it doesn't matter. You can never change it. The only sort of fix to that is you can use an amiibo to save loadouts so that you don't have to individually switch. You can just pop on that amiibo and it'll put that loadout, but you still gotta leave.
That's what they actually wanted you to do.
You gotta
buy
leave
amiibos. So.
Well, the cool thing that I like about it for Kellen is he plays inverted because he's retarded, and it saves all your settings, your sensitivity, all that stuff. So awesome. Kellen can get it how he wants it, invert it, and then whenever we switch back and forth, all he's got to do is tap the amiibo, which is nice.
Switch
back and forth, yes.
Nice.
Super excited for Splatoon 2. Sold
My only
me a
complaint is this stupid voice app for the voice chat.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I really care about trash talking kids on Nintendo system, but
it's
I'm
weird.
Just not even going to come close to
I
using
really think it's because it would drain the battery even faster than it already drains. I think that's honestly the reason.
What's the battery life on it like?
3 hours if you're lucky.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Depending on display settings.
Yeah.
If you have it as dark as possible, contrast all the way down.
You might get that hot 3.5 on some 8-bit games.
Nice.
But yeah, that's I imagine the reason they don't do that is because it would kill the
I don't know. They need to figure it out.
It just sucks for me that I'm playing it docked and I'm like, I want to talk.
Yeah, I wish they had installed something on the dock like Bluetooth where you could just
that makes too much sense.
Or the USB port can have a headset. I don't know. Man, it seems difficult, Nintendo. But anyway, yeah, I'm specifically got the Switch. The day that comes out, I'm getting the Pro Controller and Splatoon to actually play my console that I got. So, should be neat. But we'll talk about it more after.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I'll be here.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Press X Podcast. Thank you for being here, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for making me watch Kingdom Hearts.
And thank you for being here, Todd.
Yeah, good to be back. Thanks for having me back.
The surprise to show up. Back from the dead.
Oh, yeah.
You did it.
I might die again, though. I don't know.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll speak with you next time.